booking shows, live music, whether it's fests or shows, it's just like educated gambling. You know enough to not totally roll the dice, but everything is like an assumption that it'll work out, and hopefully things go well. Hopefully weather's not a factor. Hopefully this new record that's coming out isn't a bomb and people don't like this artist anymore. Or someone says something terrible online, kind of destroys their career, and you're like, oh my God, I have this band. Whatever it is, there's always some risk, but if you're good at what you do, you mitigated that and you have a general understanding of what works and what doesn't, and you're willing to kind of like build off of that and make it work. But there's always losses. Like, you just hope that most of your gains outweigh your losses, and you're getting black eyes left and right. It's definitely not like a win-win by any means.
Wow, that's a soundbite, Graham.
But it's not a gambling.
Educated gambling. Sometimes in these podcasts, I try not to make about Prism too much, but whatever. I'm the CEO of Prism, so I got to talk about it a little bit. But
Yeah.
that's why we're launching Insights, is to try and help with like this educating gambling for like a little bit. And you hopped on it pretty early. And like, how's that going for you so far? And like, what do you think about it?
It's good. We've been using it early, but late compared to, I know some other folks did it first, and we kind of watched to see what was happening with it. But yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Thanks.
I want to keep using it more. We have to kind of remember to use it, like, oh, shit,
Yeah.
click on it and see. But the more people that use it, the more info is being traded. I like it. I had like concepted out something similar years ago. I was on a panel at a ticketing conference, and it just kind of came up naturally on stage. We were like, the Live Nations of the world can share each other's info, and why aren't we indie promoters doing that? We're not competing with each other in every city necessarily. And a couple of the folks on that panel went and like tried to build it. Some of them were from the tech world and ticketing world as well. And it just never quite, I think they all got busy with other things.
Yeah.
And it never quite got off the ground. And the problem before was like, how do you herd these cats? Like, you've got all the independent minded people that all have their own opinion on what they want to share and don't share. And the only way to do it is almost like torrent file sharing with music when you were downloading years ago. Where you're like, you got to leave your hard drive open so people can download your music if you want to download theirs. It's got to be like reciprocal, or people will stop, letting you trade or whatever. But at the same time, to what degree they will share. I think this has been like a nice middle ground where it's like, okay, knowing the total gross revenue, that's an understandable amount, and getting a ticket price. These are the things that you can put two and two together and get an idea about what this band was paid. But the little nuances of a deal, some people aren't comfortable sharing, or maybe they don't want of an agent or whatever it is. Like, that's understandable. This gives you like enough insight to be able to get an idea of what an artist has done in certain markets without diving too deep into someone's settlement sheet and finding every little piece of info someone might not want to share. So I think it's a good middle ground. It's kind of balanced, especially when like the Polestars of the world don't really give you that. You're seeing like either you have to pay a lot for it, or some of the info you're getting isn't exactly what you need. This is like a good medium layer that I think is right for what we personally use it for. And in the end, like, you're just grabbing as much as you can. You're like, how much Spotify listenership monthly? What are their Instagram looks like? Where are they touring? What are the tour dates? What are the venues that they're playing? Who are they supporting? Is there something new out? How many people have done this show that I can see in Prism and see how it's done in general the last year in other markets, or even in this market, and say, okay, all this together helps you make a decision. And I know there's a lot of people trying to build a tool that just does that automatically, and maybe someday that will exist. But in the meantime, just doing your due diligence, it doesn't take that long. But having a few more, tools to kind of get you the info you need to help make an educated guess, like I was saying, is hugely helpful.
Amazing. Yeah, I would not claim it to be a novel idea that us launching Insights, but I kind of got to this point where, early on, there was complaints about other data sharing and like the flaws that they had, and like early on, I'm like, oh, like there might be some at some point, like if we're successful in getting people to put their settlement into Prism, like maybe we can do something. And it was a precious moment to decide to do it, because I think like we had to do it in a way where people trusted it, and we had to find the right balance of how much do we share versus how much do we not share. If we share too much, people aren't interested in it. If we share too little, it's not compelling. I think the fact that like people are already settling in Prism and they are already hooking up ticketing integrations, so they don't have to do any work to enter it. Like, that proved to be A, like it populates the database really effectively, and B, like, it's honest too. Like, it's not people over-reporting or under-reporting for like some other reason. It's like, anyway, so it's been a fun tool for us. And
that's so true, because like with Polestar, you had to be the one to send it to them, which is weird. It seems like the agent would want to send it, and they would actually send the end of the tour info. But and then also, as you said, some people are trying to like put their thumb on the scale to make them feel better. Here, it's like these are the numbers. Like we put it in.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
pretty
This is what our accounting goes off of. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like it's probably pretty accurate, and it's enough info that you can get an idea of what you're looking for without seeing too deep into people's personal business, and which would be the biggest holdup, and then the one that I was having a hard time wrapping my head around early on when it was like, how do we get all these indies to do it? Obviously, they have to be using the same ticketing or calendar system, but like so far it seems to be working, and I'm hoping
Cool.
people start doing it.
Yeah, do you think that's like one cool thing too? Is because we're not a ticketing company, like we work with all these different ticketing companies, and that way we can like pull in
Yeah.
information from C tickets or E-Tix or Tixer or whatever. So, and like, yeah, again, thank you for coming on when you did. I definitely do think you came on very early, and you and I were talking about this at Neva. Like, it's just it needs to happen because you're right. Like, Live Nation has their database, AG has their database, and it's already hard enough, like with all the stuff happening macroeconomically to like I don't like that. Like some of our partners are 4 or 5 wrong bets away from being bankrupt. It's even with AI, even with perfect data, even with insights times 1,000, and then it connects with social media or whatever. There's never going to be a crystal ball that tells you how much a show will do. So
Totally.
I feel like the industry, like my assumption was that the industry just so that this whole thing can stay afloat, like needs to get more comfortable with sharing data. But it definitely takes people like coming in and deciding like, hey, we're going to do things a little bit differently, and we're thankful for y'all for doing that. Yeah.
Totally. No, absolutely. It's a helpful tool. I'm glad you guys are building it and adding to it, and definitely going to keep using it. I dig it a lot. So
Love
hope
that.
it helps. I mean, and again, it's for us, we're just trying to gather as much info as we can. And this is one more tool we get to use.
Yeah. Love that.